Hello, I'm going to briefly go over your Triangle Fire essay assignment. The assignment's located on the Assignments link on the main course site menu. I've also placed a link to the assignment on the Progressivism page, as well as under the module during the week the assignment's due, which is March 13th. So once you go to your assignment and open it up, this is what it looks like. Here you have the essay instructions, which includes a copy of the video recording that I'm doing right now, the essay prompt, the essay writing tutorial, some tools for citation style, the Triangle Fire website, which I'll explain in a moment, and the Triangle Fire film, which you will need to view in order to do the assignment. So let's go to the essay prompt. The essay is worth 100 points. And based on your review of the provided course materials, the U.S. History textbook, the Triangle Fire website and film, answer the following essay question. Your essay should be a minimum of 5 pages, but not more than 6. Be sure to make specific reference to and cite specific examples from your course materials and analysis as evidence to support your answer. So the only course materials that I want you to use for this essay is the U.S. History textbook, which doesn't have a whole lot of information in it, so you don't necessarily have to use it, but there is some information in there if you would like to use it. The Triangle Fire website, which you will need to use, and I'll explain that in a moment, and then the film that is on the assignment page. So here is the essay question. Explain the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. What happened? How does this fire represent the issues progressives were trying to reform? Also describe the lives and conditions of wage-earning women garment workers, such as those who worked at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory at the turn of the century. How was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire a catalyst for reform? So first of all, you need to address every question in the essay question, not just a couple of them, but all of them. And to avoid overlooking a question, it may be helpful to use the prompt questions to organize your essay. And I don't mean write out the question as a heading or underline it and then answer it. What I mean is organize the information. For example, maybe you want to discuss progressivism and then talk about the fire and what happened, and then the information about the wage-earning women garment workers. Or maybe you want to do it chronologically, depending on what the sources you use. So that's really up to you. As long as it's clear and concise, it's fine. You must select 5 sources from the primary sources link on the Triangle Fire website. Let's go to that website. So here is a number of different primary sources you can use. You only need to select 5. I don't care which 5, as long as you use them accurately. You need to make sure you cite all sources, including the textbook, the lecture, websites, film, and the primary sources from the primary sources link, using MLA citation style. The sources must be cited in the body of the essay, meaning in text citations, and on the Works Cited page. For additional information, consult the MLA citation guide provided on the essay assignment link. I have a couple of different tools that you can look at if you don't know how to cite using MLA style. And when I say cite all sources, I mean all sources. If you use information from the textbook, then you need to cite it. If you use information from a lecture, such as the progressivism lecture, then you need to cite it, websites, films, etc. So don't just cite something when you quote it. You need to cite everything. So if the information doesn't come from your brain, then you need to cite it. You got the information from somewhere, so you need to cite it. And you might ask, well, why do I need to cite information that comes from the lectures? Because you're the instructor, you know what you said in the lectures. And that's true, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is that information comes from somewhere. So if you didn't think it, think it up, um, then that information came from somewhere and you need to cite it. Otherwise, it's plagiarism and you're taking credit for someone else's work. So make sure you do that. I have provided an example of the citation from or citation of a source from the primary sources link from the website that I just showed you. So here is an example of that. So you want to make sure when you're using sources from a website that you include the URL. So here is that information. But if you're citing the textbook, then it's going to look a little bit differently. So again, check out those citation tools I provided. In your essay, you need to include an introduction. What the introduction does is it lays out for the reader what your organizational plan for the essay is. You maybe want to include a little bit of background information, but you don't want to make the introduction very long, and you don't want to put the evidence in the introduction. Be careful about that. Uh, just a little bit of information. You could talk about progressivism. You could talk about whatever you want, but just a little bit of lead up information. But save the evidence and the details for the body of the essay. In that introduction, you want to state your main argument or your thesis. Your thesis is the answer to the essay question. So it's going to be a 1 to 2 sentence statement that covers the main points of your essay, meaning it answers the essay question. So you need a short 1 to 2 sentence essay, or I'm sorry, thesis statement. And it comes at the end of the introduction paragraph, and then I want you to underline it. In this essay, I want you to think for yourself. Answer the questions with your own brain power in your own words. Don't just quote. Don't send me a bunch of quotes. If a quote makes sense here or there, that's fine, but really try to stay away from quotations unless it's absolutely necessary. You want to say things in your own words. This is not a research paper assignment. The course materials provided to you are the only sources that you may consult. Don't Google it. Don't go to history.com or .org or the History Channel or whatever it is. Only use the sources that I have provided you, only the sources that have been provided in this course, such as the film, the textbook, the lectures, and that website that I mentioned earlier. You must use the 5 required primary sources from the primary sources link from the website that I showed you. If you don't use those 5 sources, you will receive a significant deduction in points from your essay score. When I say use the sources, I don't mean just a quote here or there. I mean actually use the sources. What's in the sources. Use the sources to illustrate a point or to provide evidence. Prove your point. Prove ample evidence to support your argument by providing concrete examples and illustrations from the course materials. Again, don't just quote. I cannot stress that enough. Cite relevant events, assertions, and passages and explain in your own words. Avoid personal sentiments. Avoid using the first person and personal sentiments such as I feel that or I believe that. Your essay should make an academic argument based on evidence, not opinion. This is not an opinion paper. This is an argument or an answer to the question being made based on evidence. Write clearly and carefully. So make sure you edit your paper. Does every sentence make sense? If you need help organizing your thoughts, um, feel free to consult the the on-campus writing center, or talk to me. I'm happy to provide feedback. And make sure your spelling's correct, punctuation, grammar, all of that stuff. Make sure that's all accurate. Have someone else read it. If you have gone over it several times and you don't see any mistakes, let someone else do it. Sometimes others can see mistakes that you don't see. Follow standard formatting. Your essay should be typewritten. What I mean by typewritten is written on a computer. Most of you are not old enough to know what typewriters were. Times New Roman, 12-point font, double-spaced with 1-inch margins. Submit as a Word or PDF document. If you use Google Docs, save as a Word or PDF document, or provide the Google Docs link. If you provide the Google Docs link, make sure that you set the link to give me direct access. I'm not going to chase you down if you don't give me access. If I click the link and it doesn't show me your essay, you're going to get a 0. So make sure that link works correctly. If you submit a PDF document, I will not be able to provide edits or feedback in the essay itself. And that's because Canvas doesn't allow me to do that with PDF documents. It does allow me to do it with Word documents. So make sure, or Word-like documents, such as Google Docs, but it doesn't with PDFs. So if you want me to put feedback in the essay itself, then do not submit as a PDF. I would only be able to put the feedback on the rubric, which I will do anyway, but sometimes it helps to know where in the essay you missed what and see what mistakes you made if you make any. And don't submit as a Pages document. I know the Apple/Mac program has Pages, but don't use Pages because Canvas does not recognize that. And then essays are due on Sunday, March the 13th by 11:59 p.m. And please see my late essay policy in the syllabus. Submit an electronic version on the Canvas assignment link. You'll just need to upload your document. And then, as I mentioned, I will provide comments on your essay electronically. All right, so that's the prompt. Your essay writing tutorial. Look at this tutorial. I have some tips for essay writing, specifically your thesis statement. So if you don't know how to write a thesis statement or you need an example of a thesis statement, look at this tutorial. And then I've mentioned everything else. One last thing, here is your rubric. This breaks down what I'm grading. Basically, it's the criteria and the points that I assign to each criteria. So you want to make sure you take a look at this and go back and kind of check it off before you submit your essay. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can contact me through email. We could Zoom chat. I will be having office hours soon before the essays due, so you may want to meet with me then. That's up to you. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know.